Hey there, my name's Gavin, and this is episode 1 of Freestyle Fundamentals. Now, I've seen a lot of people online try to explain how to do freestyle tech and how to do different, mechanics in a very, very descriptive way. But more often than not, I feel like they leave out very important parts of what to learn before starting to freestyle. And I feel like this is something that I was impacted by when I was trying to learn. I remember back in the day starting to play Rocket League and trying to learn, just like flip resets or something stupid. And the amount of knowledge you need before being able to do even the most basic tech seemed like way too much for me, because I feel like people skip over some of the very fundamental aspects of freestyling. So in this series, I want to start at ground zero, the most basic thing I can physically start at while freestyling, and work my way up from there in a series that'll be able to help you get to basically anywhere you want to be while freestyling. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a pro freestyler. I don't know if I'll ever reach that point of becoming a professional freestyler. I've landed some decent clips, but I don't know if I'll ever be to the point of some of these insane freestylers, but I know I can help a lot of people get better than where they are at, and I think that's what's most important. So yeah, without further ado, this is episode 1 of Freestyle Fundamentals. Sweet, what are we going to be learning in this episode? I think the very first thing we should start on is simply camera settings, bindings, and how to move. Okay, so this sounds really simple, but I feel like this is overlooked in a lot of tutorials, so we're just going to start at ground 1, very basics right here. Camera presets. If you're going to be a freestyler, I really, really recommend a lower height and a tighter camera setting. Now, a lot of freestylers kind of disagree on what their camera settings are. Some people say they want to be faster, slower. If you're specifically going for chain resets like I am, I always feel like a lower height will help you out a lot. It just makes your resets feel less clunky. I don't feel like the ball is shaking my car around, and it feels like I'm cradling the ball a lot more on these camera settings than I would be on something else. Of course, different players will always play at different camera settings. It's almost worth it to experiment with your own for a while, but I would just try your best to choose something that you feel like flows the best with your shots. And this will be explained more, this concept of flowing with shots later on. But yeah, if you want to copy my settings, they're right here. Maybe try your own, try a further distance, try a closer distance. It really depends on the person. Okay. The next thing, and one of the bigger parts I want to explain real quick, is the idea of controller dead zone and your overall bindings. So controller dead zone is really important for stalls, okay? What stalling is this tech where you can basically freeze your car in the air like this. And this tech is almost the fundamental of every single chain reset there is. You can always get like MacTuffs and a couple of non-stall ones, but let's say heli stalls or I don't know, just regular stalls, I guess, or ceiling jump to stalls, anything with stalls in it. Very important, very creative shot to throw into your practice. I think it's really important to have that, and it's going to be really hard to stall if you're on a really low controller dead zone. So I set mine to 0.3. It's going to feel weird to get used to for a little bit, but I promise this will help you overall if you're trying to stall a lot with your resets. I'll explain resets, stalls, everything later on. Don't worry too much about it, just keep this in mind. The other really big thing is make sure you have an air roll set up somewhere. So I have both air roll left and air roll right set to my bumpers, and this makes it so I can do this thing while I'm in the air spinning, okay? This becomes essential when you're freestyling. This is one of the best ways to, long air dribble, adjust musty flicks, flip reset, anything like that. But you're going to get to a point where you get really good at, spinning while flying, and it's going to help you out a lot, setting up your car for different tech. Let's say we're going for like an alternate heli stall right here. Air roll right is really useful while also having air roll left. That way I can set up under the ball like that. Without those two things set up, it's going to be almost impossible to do a lot of shots, and it'll really change the way you freestyle. So keep having either an air roll left or an air roll right in mind, and in some cases even both. Try to get used to using both of them. They're going to feel weird. Spend time in training, driving around, and just rocking your car like this, Just keep it simple. Finally, with the rest of your settings, just make sure you're on your highest frame rate your monitor allows, basic stuff like that, and that should be good. And yeah, now let's focus on driving. Driving is essential. You got to be able to drive if you're going to freestyle, okay? Power sliding. Power sliding is really important. Let's say we're trying to get to the ball, okay? And, you know, we're going for it, and you need to turn really sharply. Power sliding and holding right, really good for turning. You can turn very quickly. Using power slide for almost every turn and getting used to the feel of that will help you line up your freestyle shots in the future. Now, this may be really, really easy for a lot of you, and I think for the majority of anyone watching this, just skip to the next video. You know, this is gonna be way too basic for anything anyone needs, but if you're brand new to the game, that's perfectly fine. Power slide, really useful. Get used to using power slide while turning for cuts, you know, dribbling. Be ready to be able to move the ball with your car. You know, get this feeling of pushing forward the ball, the corner of the ball, using some boost, feathering it like this, and just driving. And this first step of getting good at just controlling the ball will just take time. There's no way to avoid that. You know, you'll get used to where the ball interacts with your car, and the best way you can do this is just sitting in free play and messing around with the ball. Driving it around like this, you know, curling it around, simple stuff like that. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Right now, just focus on being able to move the ball around, and eventually get to the point where, look, you can push the ball up the wall like this. And that will set up all of your shots for the rest of the time. Once you get that tech down, that will set up the majority of your freestyles forever. Again, for a lot of you, this is way too easy, and that's fine. Just skip to the next video. But yeah, so that's episode 1 of Freestyle Fundamentals. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, there's going to be a full series of, you know, how to do different shots, how to do flip resets, how to do anything like that. And just work on trying your best to get better at each one of these parts. Each step of this Freestyle Fundamentals will set you up for being able to do basically any shot you want as best as you can. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, go to the next video.
Just so beautiful.